Okay, so without any ado, let me bring on Ellen from Pure Consulting.
Alright, I am gonna give you some insights to sustainability trends and facts, which is a good foundation when we're gonna talk about technology. I work in Pure Consulting, as mentioned, and we help companies to put sustainability at the core of their operations, so they become fit for the future. So we work a lot with sustainability strategy. Whenever me or my colleague are out talking about sustainability and sustainable business practices, we tend to show this picture of this footprint. And we ask people, what do you think this is about? And they tend to say, I think it's about reducing our impact, minimizing, cutting emissions, using less resources, and so on. And then we tend to say that no, we should turn that perception upside down, because it's not about how small you're supposed to be and how little of a footprint you should put. You should set a footprint you're proud of, and a footprint that is part of the solution for all the challenges we are facing now. I'm sure most of you have seen the UN Sustainability Goals. They were launched in 2015 and we're supposed to reach them in 2030. Which is really exciting because the whole globe has said that these goals are our ambition. And it's 17 goals, so it shows a range of what sustainability is about. It's everything from inequality to innovation to health to education and the environment. It's a lot. So it shows the range of sustainability. All of these, they build on the 3 Ps, people, planet, profit. And they all need to work together if we are going to have a sustainable world. The 2 most important driving forces, if we are to reach these goals, is technology and it's finance. With technology, we can enable and we can scale and we can accelerate and reach these goals in a much higher pace. And we also need finances to invest in all these solutions. Professor Rockström at Stockholm Resilience Center, he structured the SDGs like this, and it's the 3 Ps in here. The outer layer is the biosphere, and without the biosphere, we have nothing to build our planet on. We have nothing to build our business or innovation on. So we need to make sure that the biosphere is doing all right. And then it's the society and people we need to take care of for everyone to thrive and to build innovation. And then comes the economy. So basically, we need to start with the fundamentals. What do we really care about? Like that everyone gets human rights and that we're within the means of the planet, and then we can see what kind of economic system, what kind of businesses can deliver on that. And as you see, partnerships go through all the goals because that's an important enabler. Let's see, so what are the challenges we're facing? One of the one great challenge we're facing is that we're running out of resources. We're using way too much resources. Has anyone heard of Earth Overshoot Day? Yeah, a few, that's good. That's the day of the year when we have used up all the resources that the Earth can renew in 1 year. And in 2019, this day was 29th of July. So that means we have used up all the resources Earth can renew in 12 months. We used it in 7 months. And if everyone were to use the same amount of resources as we do in Norway, we would use up all these resources in just 3.5 months. So we're running out of resources. And as you see here, in 2030, there's no more gold, silver, or zinc in natural, in the nature. So we need to manage our resources in new ways in order to produce technology and have opportunities as we have today. And there's a lot of potential because there's a lot of e-waste generated that we can use, and only 20% of that is recycled today. And yeah, it's a lot of money potential there. In traditional mines, there's only 5%, 5 gram gold per ton, while in urban mines you find 575 gram of gold per ton of materials. And if we use technology, we can utilize and design our systems so we get to utilize these resources much better. Because who really wants to have a phone or a car that has the lives of thousands of children in Congo on its hands? And also, like this guy, he spent 25,000 Norwegian kroner on a TV 6 years ago. Now it's useless. It's not a good system. So why can't we rather design business models that take back, or maybe product as a service, take back the TV after 5 years and reproduces it to a new TV, so the value is in the material. So a lot of this has to do with design. We need to design the systems better. Another example is mobility. That's not a good system currently. On average, in Europe, or European cars are parked 92% of the time, and when they're in use, only 1.5 seats are occupied. And it's quite costly because it stands for 20% of household income. And at the same time, 90% of urban residents in Europe are exposed to harmful level of air pollution. And it's extremely costly, like 2 to 5% of global GDP goes to being stuck in traffic. So it's not a good system, and we need to transform it to become more sustainable. Another issue is food, which we are quite dependent on. In the UK, scientists say that they only have 30 to 40 years left before eradicating soil fertility, which means they only have about 100 harvests left. And the planet's land is severely degraded, and fertile soil is being lost at the rate of 24 billion tons a year, and nature is so rapidly destroyed that it threatens the ability to feed the people of the earth. So we need to change the system. World Economic Forum has now 4 years in a row said that climate change is the greatest risk for global economy, both concerning the likelihood and impact. And last year, they said there's an urgent need to step up ambition. That was in 2019. This year they said that climate change is striking harder and more rapidly than many expected. And it also stresses the need for a multi-stakeholder approach to solve these issues. So, yeah. But this is actually good news. Climate change is, as you probably know, it's the result of how we structure society. And why I'm saying that's good news is because it means we can change how we structure society. We can think differently, and especially with all the technology that is available now, a lot can actually be solved. This guy, who's the CEO of Nike, he says that incremental change won't get us there fast enough. And yeah, we actually need to fundamentally change how we do business, how we do society. And what's good is that before, most businesses were this way. They either did money or they did good. But today it's changing. So a lot of businesses, they see that they can actually combine these two. And they can both earn money, solving societal problems and challenges with the environment. The governor of Bank of England, he actually warns that firms that ignores climate crisis will go bankrupt. And Pacific Gas and Electric was the first major corporate bankruptcy due to climate change, and it's not going to be the last. And these drivers, they show why implementing sustainability is so important for business today. For instance, customers, they expect it more and more, both consumers and B2B consumers. Investors, they expect it. And there's also climate risk, which includes reputation, it includes physical risk, changes in legislation, and so on. Resource scarcity is becoming a thing. It's becoming a challenge, so we need to think more circular, and also risk in the value chain with human rights, for instance. That's also related to reputation risk. And recruitment. If you want the brightest minds today and the next few years, you need to think about sustainability, because that's what young people today are thinking of when they're choosing a place to work. So, actually sustainability is not something that you can choose. It's something you need to do in order to remain competitive because of how society works today. So it's about if you want to lag behind or if you want to be on the forefront and be a good example. So here we are. This is from a wildfire in, let me see, Washington State 2-3 years ago. So we tend to, even though we know a lot about what's happening, we're not taking, we don't see the urgent need to step up ambition as the World Economic Forum told us to a year ago. But we need to do that because this is actually a reality. And with these cans, they were invented in the beginning of the 1800s. Anyone know when the can opener was invented? No? That was 50 years later. And we don't have to wait. We don't have time to wait 50 years. And with technology, technology is definitely a driving force behind innovation, connectivity, productivity, efficiency in nearly every sector in society. And it forms the backbone of today's digital economy and have tremendous potential to improve people's life in fundamental ways. And it's therefore crucial to achieving the SDGs. And each and every one of the SDGs are impacted by technology. In 2008, the most valuable companies in the world were within oil and gas. Today, they're in tech. And especially in Norway, as we're a quite small country, we need to work together to find these solutions. Because if every, for instance, law office are gonna develop a strategy within AI, it's not very efficient. We need to work together because we're too small to, if we want to be part of this power picture. Just a few examples on how technology is used to solve some challenges in society before I end up. Nyby, it's a Norwegian startup. They have a solution that organizes welfare in a new way. For instance, it could be used by a nurse who is caring for an old lady in her home. Due to the time constraints this nurse faces, he is not able to help this older lady as much as he would. So, through Nyby, he's connected with other people who are approved for this particular lady, and he can just post different tasks that needs to be done, like mopping the floor, mowing the lawn, doing groceries, and then relatives or other volunteers that are approved can just select which tasks they want to do. This is from Grieg Investor and Enigma. It enables users to have overview of their investing portfolio, so the users can base their decisions on facts. So you can see if you're exposed to controversial companies that are not accepted by the Norwegian oil fund. You can see if they're investing in weapons, tobacco, alcohol, gambling, and so on, and the emission of the different kind of companies. So it collects the data and enables you to base your choices on facts. Spacepaper, you probably heard of that one. They have developed a game-changing AI technology that helps users discover smarter ways to maximize the potential of building of a building site. So you see here, you can either build it this way or this way. So there's changes in area, sun, noise, and different things. So this will, or their mission is to ensure sustainable urban environments, which is crucial because we're gonna reach, we're gonna have 2 more billion people the next 30 years. And then there's Fjong. They have a closet, kind of, where you can rent clothes. So instead of me buying a dress that I will use once, I can rent out my clothes and rent clothes there. So maybe 30 or 40 women will use the same clothes. So it's a good way of using resources in a much better way. All right, that was it, all I had. And I wish you a good night. And I look forward to hearing the rest of your time.
Thank you, Anna.